20 seconds and counting. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour.
With a roar that shook the earth and echoed into the heavens, humanity reached beyond its terrestrial prison toward a glowing orb that had beckoned us since time began. The moon, silent, distant, eternal. Our celestial neighbor, an ancient mystery. For millennia it drifted across our skies, wrapped in the gauze of myth and reverence. The moon was a muse to poets, a compass to sailors, a calendar to civilizations. But it was also an enigma, one that never turned its back, yet never revealed its secrets. Until July of 1969, when 3 men wrapped in white, armed with courage and carried by fire, pierced the void and touched its desolate skin. Apollo 11. More than a mission. A symphony of technology, politics, ambition, and mystery. In its wake, it left behind not just footprints but whispers. Whispers of things discovered, and things left unsaid. Now, decades later, we return to that extraordinary voyage, not to relive history but to unearth the riddles it buried in silence. Join us as we delve into 15 of the most astonishing lunar secrets that Apollo 11 revealed, and that still keep us awake at night. From the outside, it looked like a triumph. A rocket. A mission. A success. But behind the applause was tension, terror, and stakes so high they strained the fabric of reality. Apollo 11 was not just a demonstration of spacefaring prowess. It was a gamble, political, technological, and existential. In the searing heat of the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a dance of shadows. One-upmanship, nuclear fear, and ideological warfare loomed over every decision. When President John F. Kennedy made his bold declaration in 1961, "We choose to go to the moon," it wasn't a speech about dreams. It was a battle cry. A gauntlet thrown into the stars. The moon became the final high ground. A place where victory meant more than science, it meant survival of a world view. So when Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins were strapped into that spacecraft, they carried more than mission objectives. They carried the pride of a nation, the weight of fallen astronauts, the pressure of billions of eyes, the fear of being first, and failing. And then there was Collins. The third man. The silent sentinel. While Armstrong and Aldrin descended toward lunar glory, Collins remained alone in lunar orbit, piloting Columbia. He was Earth's last hope if something went wrong. In his private musings, he feared the unthinkable, returning home alone. Can you imagine it? The Earth rising on the horizon, the roar of applause, the banners and medals, and yet, behind his eyes, haunted by the memory of 2 friends lost forever on a grey, airless tomb. This was not just a mission to the moon. It was a plunge into the unknown, where success would redefine history, and failure would echo through eternity. As Columbia soared silently around the moon, Michael Collins found himself in an eerie limbo, suspended between worlds. On the far side of the moon, completely out of radio contact, he became the most isolated human in history. Alone. 240,000 miles from home. No voices. No light. No reassurance. Just the whisper of instruments and the sound of his own breath. Each orbit gave him 48 minutes of this haunting solitude. No one on Earth could reach him. Not Houston. Not Armstrong. Not Aldrin. Just silence. This mysterious lunar far side, forever hidden from Earth, is more rugged, more cratered, and more ancient than its familiar counterpart. Many believe it holds the keys to the moon's origin, and perhaps more. But the strangest event didn't happen above. It happened below. As Armstrong stepped onto the surface, he made an unexpected move. The detour was not in the mission schedule. No one told him to go, and he never spoke of it afterward. Was it curiosity? Instinct? Or something else? Even today, some researchers wonder, what did Armstrong see at Little West Crater? What compelled him to stray from the script in the most tightly controlled mission in history? Perhaps the moon whispered something only he could hear. To the world, they were heroes. To history, they became legends. But behind the visors were three men, complex, flawed, courageous. Neil Armstrong, the reluctant icon. A test pilot with nerves of steel and the soul of a poet. He never sought fame. He sought precision, clarity, truth. When he took that first step, his words, calculated and calm, resonated across generations. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Buzz Aldrin, the fighter. A decorated veteran, brilliant engineer, and deeply spiritual man. On the moon, he saw more than rocks and dust, he saw purpose. Later, he would grapple with depression, alcoholism, and the weight of being second. But in that moment, he was magnificent, bounding like a child in a dreamscape. Michael Collins, the watcher. The one who didn't land, but without whom there would be no return. He was the pilot, the navigator, the backup brain. And though he never touched lunar soil, his role was vital. He later said, "I am alone now, truly alone, and absolutely isolated from any known life. I am it." Their paths were different. Their burdens unique. But their bond, eternal. Three men, hurled into the void, and returned changed. They didn't just go to the moon. They took all of us with them. Long before Apollo 11 lifted off, tragedy struck. On January 27, 1967, 3 astronauts sat inside the Apollo 1 capsule for a routine pre-launch test. Suddenly, a spark ignited. The cabin, pressurized with pure oxygen, became a death trap. In seconds, it was over. Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee perished in fire and smoke. It was a brutal lesson. Space was not a playground. It was a battlefield. And it showed no mercy. Afterward, everything changed. NASA redesigned its systems. The astronauts trained harder. They understood, every breath, every move, every second had to be earned. But even then, no insurance company would cover them. The risks were simply too great. So they improvised. Before launch, Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins signed hundreds of postal covers, envelopes bearing the launch date, their signatures, and space-themed art. These were their secret life insurance policies. If they didn't come back, their families could sell them. Every stroke of the pen was a silent prayer. A whispered farewell. And for Collins, one thought haunted him endlessly: what if they don't make it back? What if I leave them there, forever? It wasn't just danger they faced. It was the possibility of unbearable loss.